Hello lovelies, welcome back to the channel. Today I come to you with a how I do my lashes, and I'm not calling it a tutorial because it's just how I do them. I don't want to describe it by using the big word like tutorial that kind of makes it sound like I know what I'm doing. And I do know what I'm doing for my own eyes, but I can only tell you as much as applies to me. I have never put false lashes on anybody else, so it makes it a little bit tricky when it comes to, you know, talking about how to do them. So at least I can try to show you how to do them on yourself, and then you can see if this technique works for you or not. So all I've done so far is put mascara on my lashes. This is a sample size of this Chanel mascara. I thought I liked this a lot better when I first tried it. Now I'm not so sure about it. But it's a sample. I'll use it up until it's done, and then I'm not going to repurchase it. So the lashes that I am using are ones that are my favorites. I don't even have the box anymore, but they are really nice and fluffy. They have a lot of layers and a lot of lashes to them. These are the Ritzy lashes by Kiss, and I just so happened to pick them up one day at the drugstore. I think it was the drugstore, and they're kind of just what I've been using ever since. They're pretty amazing. They do have some brown hairs in them too. If you can kind of see, they're not just solid black. So there's variation in the color, and it makes it look very natural. So I really like these because they're really nice and fluffy. The band is nice. It's not too thick, not too thin, nice and clear. And I don't think I had to trim these down. They came in a size that fits right on my lash line, so that's perfect. The other thing that came in the set with these lashes, and this was like, you know, it came with the applicator and with the glue, so I'll talk about that in a second, but this is the applicator that it came with, and mine is kind of beat up now. I think it has like lash glue stuck on it, but you can see it's not just a regular tweezer. It has this curve, which is going to match with the curve of the lashes, so you'll see that, and the curve of your lash line even better. So you'll see that this fits right onto the lash, and these are getting old. I might have to replace these soon. I'm so sad. Or I do have to replace these soon. But anyway, so they fit right on the curve of the lash. It holds it really nicely. The one thing I will say is make sure there's not any leftover glue on these. So you just want to make sure that your applicator is clean as well. And I'm going to put them back into the applicator. You will want to make sure that the fluffier side, the longer side, is to the outside of your eye line, and the shorter side is to the inside of your eye line. So these, for example, and I might have to change the applicator, actually, it's going to fit right on this eye. Once I get them fitted in the applicator, and they'll go right there on my lash line. Okay, well, maybe not right there, over a little bit. So once I get that done, get them in there, then I'm going to apply the glue. So as soon as I get them into the applicator and get them held on the applicator, I'm going to apply the glue. See if I get these. Of course it's going to give me problems because I'm trying to film this now. So, and then I'm going to take my glue, and this is Kiss Ever Easy Lashes. This is going to dry clear, so that's an important distinction. If you want it to dry clear or dry black, that's the other option. I like clear because if you mess up, you don't get black all over your lid. Strip lash adhesive, holds for 24 hours, odor-free, latex-free, waterproof. I find that this stuff works pretty well. I have to be extra careful with putting maybe a little extra on the inner corner of my eye, or the portion of the lash that's going to be on my inner corner, because I find that it does pop up a little bit from there. So I have my applicator, and you'll see it's not really a brush, it's just this little plastic nub kind of thing. And so you're just going to run that along the lash band with the glue on it, of course. Let's see. Boom, boom. Okay. And I'm going to let this dry for quite a while. I want this to be pretty dry by the time I'm putting it on my lashes so that it stays on my lash. If I just put this on right now, it wouldn't stick to my lash line. It would come off, be a mess. So the key is you almost can't wait too long for these to be too dry. You want to wait maybe even a little bit longer than you think. I mean, I suppose it is possible for them to get too dry, but you know what I mean. You wait. You have to wait. That's really the key. When I finally figured that out is when I was finally able to apply lashes. So we're going to give it a few minutes. We can blow on them. We can see the color of this glue changes from a white to a clear, right? I already said it dries clear. So you guys might not be able to see it on camera, but this is going to become even more clear than that white color. So I'm going to wait till I see a little bit more of that. About 45 seconds. Also depending on how much you put on there. If you put on a lot, wait longer. If you didn't put on that much, you might be able to get away with waiting more like 20, 30 seconds. So I think these are pretty good at this point. Okay, I still want them to be somewhat wet. I'm going to take my mirror. This is my mirror from my Lorac Mega Pro. And I'm going to hold it below my chin. I don't have a good way to show you guys this. I'm just holding it below my chin so that when I look down into the image, into the mirror, I can see exactly where my eyelashes are lining up with the false lashes. And so that my real eyelashes are out of the way. If I try to just put it on like this, you get in the way of the curl of your natural lash. So you want to be looking down. And then you're just going to have to play with placement. Do you want it farther in, further out? And by that, I mean closer to the inner corner, closer to the outer corner. And that itself can be tricky in just knowing the shape of your eye and the lashes that you're using. You're going to want to make sure they look pretty blended. You don't want to be able to tell the difference between your own eyelashes and the fake ones. So you might choose to put on some more mascara at this point to blend them together a little bit better. Unfortunately, these are getting a little bent out of shape. It might just be about time to retire them, but that's what the lash is going to look like, of course, afterwards, versus no lash. So then I'm going to put the other one on, doing the same thing. Okay, so I've applied using the little tip here. Oh, I realized this wasn't on camera. But it was really just doing the same thing that I did on the first one. Just rubbing that along the lash band and waiting for it to dry now, that 30-45 seconds. Now, the trick with placing a lash too close to the end of your eye, not the trick, but the problem with it is that it will make the end of your eye look really droopy. When you apply a lash too far to the end of your lash line, so that it's kind of too much on this end, it can make your lash look really droopy or make your eye look really droopy. So you want to make sure that it's not too far to the center, because then you get a lot of movement on that skin and it might have that lash pop up sooner. But you also want to make sure it's not too far out, or else you'll get kind of not such a great look with your lash. So this is dry now. I'm going to put it on, doing the same thing, having my mirror at chest level. So again, if I can show you. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like, looking down into the mirror. And then I'm going to grab with the tweezers each side of the lash, make sure it's right where I want it, while the glue is still wet. And then I'll press in to the eye. And sometimes I change between using tweezers and my fingers My fingers are pretty bad at this though. I just kind of do it as like a natural impulse, but you really should just be using the tweezers. It's a lot easier that way if you can get the knack of it. So, okay. Oh, that's actually a shocker that I only had to do each side once. Usually it takes me maybe once or twice each side. So that actually worked out really well this time. So this is what the final looks like, and this one maybe could have been a little bit closer to the center. You can kind of see it looks a little farther away from the center of the eye than this one, but it's okay. It's okay. And so that's the tricky thing, is the placement on your lash line is tricky, but just using that technique of looking down into the mirror as you do it can really help you with the placement or with placing it and not getting it like in your natural lashes and really seeing where it falls in the lash line. Just looking straight at the lash and at your eye while you're doing this can be very difficult. Looking down is a lot easier. So that's kind of the main tip to take away from this. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial and that it was helpful, and have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye y'all.